All right, everybody. Stocks by the numbers. Welcome back. And I wanted to take a look here at Super Micro Computer, ticker symbol SMCI, listed here on the Nasdaq. Stock closed a touch below $840 a share, down 35 points even, 4% even. Right now, after hours, at 833 even. But this is interesting because we might actually need to actually have a conversation and bounce some ideas off of each other here, and I'm going to show you why. First of all, in the long term, obviously you guys know how I feel about it. I think in one of the previous updates, I think I did like some quick little arithmetic looking at some future revenue coming in. I think we landed on like between $2,000 and $2,400 a share, in my opinion. That's my personal price target on SMCI for the record. Again, originally looked at on this channel down here at 350. Also did an update, I think it was like 550 or something. Stock ended up running over $1,200, S&P inclusion, fantastic. Okay, so now let's talk about the technicals, right? Because we know, in my opinion, fundamentals are great and long-term is going to be phenomenal. So I want to make my case here, and I want you guys in the comments to let me know how you actually feel about this in the short term, because I am seeing bull indicators and bear indicators like crazy, which tells me if I was a trader, I would actually not trade this right now. And if we draw our trend line from the top here, March, what was that? March 8th, connecting to March 13th, that high right there, April 17th, boom, cutting that trend line down across, right? So this is our resistance trend line, right? And recently we can see on the 15th, we climbed up above this resistance trend line, and then we pulled back here. This is the 20th, and you can see we came down and then we bounced off of it. And then you can see we kind of flashed through it on the 23rd, and then happened to come up above it. And then we spiked up. And then we started to pull back. And then today, markets were red across the board. Boom, we chunked down. Look at that. Broke below it, closed above it, and then has kind of been channeling kind of sideways here. So, technically, we're still above the resistance level, which is now support, right? So, technically, that's bullish, right? But if we look at the big drop today on our red candle and then our kind of sideways upward channeling, that's a bear flag technically, right? So we can potentially break below it. But since climbing above the resistance trend line, we again spiked back up and have slowly been kind of stepping down, which almost looks like to me a descending wedge, which is bullish. But it's inside of this upward channel after this gap down on the 19th, which almost looks like a longer term ascending wedge, which is bearish. Right in here, if you look at stock charts, you can see, you can kind of tell what looks to be a rising wedge as well, bouncing off the mid-Bollinger Band, right? Potentially approaching the apex soon and breaking down maybe back into the 700s. MACD recently flew to the moon as crossed to the downside a couple of weeks ago. RSI still kind of middle of the road here, 57 1/3. This is the weekly. Switching over to the daily, RSI basically middle of the road there, 47.5. Right, but we can also, but that's what I mean. I'm seeing mixed signals here, and we could look at this over the weekly. Oh, it keeps bouncing off the mid-Bollinger Band, so it's bullish, right? But then we switch over daily, and we can see we popped above the mid-Bollinger Band here a couple of weeks ago and recently bounced off of it a couple of times, trying to reclaim that 50-day moving average. Then we just rejected the 50-day moving average. The mid-Bollinger Band on the daily, 841.28. Stock closed 839.72, which technically is bearish. MACD, potential curling, about to cross to the downside, which could be viewed as bearish. So I wanted to make this video really for two reasons. First of all, I'm curious how you guys feel about this, because again, I just laid out, in my opinion, some patterns, some trend lines I'm watching, how we bounced off the moving averages. I'm looking at these Bollinger Bands, and the RSI on both the daily and the weekly is kind of middle of the road. So in my opinion, we have like 4 or 5 bullish indicators, 4 or 5 potential bearish indicators. So I'm curious if, how you guys are looking at it, what patterns or technicals you might see that I'm not seeing, and where you might think the stock is going here in the short term. Also, I was going to say something else. Also, okay, I'm drawing a blank. Yes. Also, my apologies. That's how you know I'm not on a script, right? Also, I wanted to just bring this up as an example of when you might not have concrete, confident tech analysis in a situation, that it may be in your best interest to do nothing and just wait for a clearer picture. That was the second reason why I made the video. Because again, you could be looking at it, as I mentioned, I'm seeing a couple of bullish indicators, a couple of bearish indicators. So something like this, you can say, oh, yeah, it looked like a bear flag today, I'm going to buy puts. And then it bounces and it pops up to 870 and you end up being incorrect, right? Or on the flip side, oh, yeah, no, we're in this wedge and we're still above this, this old resistance trend line, so it's technically still bullish, so it should bounce up. And then, boom, it breaks down to 820. Right? And this is one of the perfect situations where you should be trading with conviction, right? You should not force a trade on this because it's SMCI. You should not force a trade on this because it's been a trending stock and you want to be a part of it. You should not force a trade on this because the option could move 1200% and you need money. You should not force a trade on this because tomorrow, I don't even know what day it is, because tomorrow's Thursday and you have to make $300 a day, and yesterday you made $250, so now you're playing catch up, so you have to trade this. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes the best action is no action. That's just my 2 cents on the situation. But again, a lot of these random rules, and I know so many people, like on YouTube and whatnot, everyone has their trading rules, their investing rules, and people, oh, you shouldn't risk more than 10% of your capital in one position, which technically is true. People, we try to incorporate all of these rules, but at the end of the day, we are emotional creatures, and everybody does want to make money. And especially, the social media really accelerated the FOMO and the forced trade side of trading. Because if you probably weren't on, StockTwits and constantly seeing updates, oh, bro, look at this, I just turned 1,200 into 60 grand. Like, if you weren't constantly seeing that, chances are you would be more disciplined. But, again, I'm not trying to lecture to you guys, but, just trying to help out a couple of people. But yeah, I wanted to point out again a couple of bullish indicators, a couple of bearish indicators that I'm seeing here, and I'm just curious to all of the traders out there, anyone who recently got into calls or puts on SMCI, or if you're seeing something I'm seeing and now you're waiting for a potential breakup or breakdown for confirmation to jump in calls or puts. Very curious to hear from you guys in the comments section. But overall, I hope everyone's doing well, and that's pretty much it. So once again, stocks by the numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm helps me get more eyes on the channel, right? And of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky, they're volatile, they're very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.